And maybe at a time I might have had a lot of animosity, like, but I was like, nah. If I'm who I want to be and I'm the man I'm trying to be, it's love. I am so creatively sure and creatively confident, and so I am fucking doing this today, that if you think there's a label or a system or a fucking functionality that can make me do anything for any type of success, you're insane. If I, God forbid, I go today, you can take this album and that's what I mean. In every sense, this is how I feel, this is what I love, this is everything. Bro, I'm making this album and I'm trying to tap into things, and I clocked, bro, you're a little bit heartbroken, you know? Without even getting too deep on it, for something that warps reality and affects clarity and distracts, that just can't be the best place for me, innit?
The Cheque, ChuckieOnline, powered by Benja. Honourable shout out to the brothers. Got a gift for the guest as well. You know what? The last time we sat down was like close to 7 years ago. And so much in life happened. Not even just like personally, but just in life. Not even just professionally, sorry. Just in life. With this artist and also myself. And I felt like if there was ever a time to kind of come back and reconvene and have a proper sit down and a proper conversation, now was the time. Honourable shout out to my guy Stormzy with me
brother.
today. How are you doing, my brother?
Bro, I'm good, man.
How are you, man?
I'm good, yeah, I'm God bless, bro. Yeah, man.
How does it feel to be back outside? Musically?
It feels, at first, if you bucked me, probably like, if you bucked me before Mel Made Me Do It dropped, I would have said like, oh, right, it's like, it's just all mad, it's all like, but I think as soon as I got back into the swing of things, and it's like, okay, like, it's muscle memory, innit?
Right.
Yeah, but, yeah, it feels good, it feels, yeah, it feels, I think before, every time I used to be outside, it used to feel like a fucking event, like a big event, and even, it's jokes, because even like, a lot of the planning before, like, for the campaign and for the release, everything that was making it feel like a big event, didn't feel right in my spirit. I can't, and of course it's a big event, because, do you know what I mean, because of the size of what we're doing in it, but.
Of course.
Yeah, it just, as a man, it didn't feel like that anymore. And it was just like, it's cool, we're just releasing music, innit?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I was going to ask you as well, actually, how different, like, you would have remembered what it felt like to drop the first album, innit, and that excitement that you had then. And then you would have known what it would have felt like to drop the second album with, like, having a certain level of success and also going through some of the things that you've gone through, yeah? But then, like, how different is this one, though? The third one?
Yeah, this one's super different. I think, like, yeah, it's super different in the sense of, like, I've done it twice. The pressure of, like, I don't know, whatever pressures I had before in terms of releasing an album, I don't feel like I have them anymore. Like,
right.
they're not, I don't feel like I have them anymore. And, yeah, and also God's a big thing. Like, I think walking with God and, like, just waking up and, like, going through things and saying, God, like, I need you, or just help me, or strengthen me, or be my source, be my shelter. That helps a lot. That helps a hell of a lot. Like,
bro, there's so much to discuss here. There's so much life to discuss. There's so much circumstance, so much happenstance. But you know what? I want to go straight to the music. See, like, my opinion, yeah, on, like, third albums might be quite different to a lot of people's.
Okay.
So for me, you see, like, when an artist gets to a certain point in their career, yeah, where they hit a certain level of success and they get to their third album on that level of success, I don't want to hear the last two albums. Okay. I want to hear a risk.
Yeah.
I don't know what the risk is, but I want to hear a risk. And it's the same even with you now that I knew you was coming with your third album. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, as a music geek, I know that I don't want to hear GSAP.
Yeah.
I know that I don't want to hear Heavy as the Head. I don't know what I want to hear from you, but all I know is I just want to hear something different. Yeah. I want to know where you're actually really at. How do we get here? Like, how do we get to this point? Like, and what musically inspired you? Not lyrically, What musically inspired you to get to this point here?
Everything. Like, I feel like I'm a proper, what's the word? I really embody everything that I love. Everything, like as in, I couldn't even put it. If I named 3 or 4 artists, I'll be lying. Like it's everything from Stevie to Frank to Wretch to Kendrick to Kanye to like, but in its entirety, as in like, yeah, I think, yeah, musically, it's just, I think I've been trying, and also myself in a mad way, in the sense of I've tried things, and like I've dipped my toe, and I've gone right, I've gone left, and like I'm just all figuring it out, and like I'm like, okay, when I do this, it's that, and when I do this, and when I go in and merging it all together to just use all of that to just marry that with how I feel and whatever truth I'm going through and make an album from it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I can't, especially because of the way we made the album and the approach, like because of the lack of calculation and there was the fact that there was no premeditation, like I can't pin it down to, even when I talk to Casa Progression and we're talking like how, it's like, yo, this is just vibes, we just love music and we just talk about music and then we ended up here. So, and again, credit to God, because sometimes this album, and I said it when I made the album, I said, when I'm on this like campaign, I have to stand in rooms and give glory to God, because
Right.
bare times, I don't even know how we got here. Like, I don't know like how man got to this sonic or that lyrical, that idea, but we're here and I'm listening back, I'm like, wow, like, and it's been a 2.5 year journey, it's been different parts of it, yeah, it's been a lot.
It's the byproduct of being free, innit? I
Yeah.
think. And I feel like that's what the third album, for me, gives certain artists that you probably don't even, like for a lot of people, they probably don't even feel that. There's like probably another bit of pressure where it's like, oh, I've done it twice. And even though doing it twice is amazing, a lot of people probably would naturally put an extra bit of pressure on their shoulder and say, oh, like, I need to do it a third time. I need to figure that out. But I want to talk about like the perception. So like, at first, when Mel Made Me Do It came out, I think the perception from everyone was like, yo, I want to see Stormzy come out, bar people's heads off. Then the first single came out and it was like, okay, yeah, like, all right, this is not what we expected, but it's different, but it's gonna come. Yo, I want to see Stormzy bar people's heads off. Fire Babe dropped and it was like, okay, maybe this isn't happening. Did you feel the weight of that expectation on your shoulders just a little bit? Did you feel that?
I didn't feel it, but I knew it existed.
Right.
But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like I didn't feel it, but I knew it existed. But again, I think, I don't know, I kind of humor it in the sense of like, Mel Made Me Do It dropped, and it was like, yeah, like Storms. There's a version of me that like, people enjoy, people like, people want, like. But I was like, I'm just always gonna give her. But also, it's funny because I'm never trying to like do like a red herring. I'm never like, to Mel Made Me Do It. I'm never trying to like do smoke and mirrors of like, yo, you think you're gonna get bars? Whoa, no, you're gonna get melody.
Right.
Or, oh, you thought you're getting melody? No, you're getting like, it just happens to go like that, like. And yeah, I guess I felt it and I knew it existed, but again, like nothing to do with me. I always think like what people feel and what people expect, that's nothing to do with me. I just got to do what I want to do. Like, I just got to make music. And yeah, like, yeah, Hide and Seek dropped and then Fire Babe dropped. And by the time Fire Babe dropped, yeah, it was like, oh, okay, this guy ain't doing that. But yeah, man, I know it exists, but again, I think as an artist, and this is an encouragement to any artist as well, like, our job's not to feel that.
Yeah.
Or even if you do feel it, your job's not to act on it.
No, facts.
Your job's not to act on like what people expect or want from you. Like, I think your job is to feel and express. And sometimes it will be a Mel Made Me Do It. Like, yo, 7, yeah, that's what. And sometimes it's not gonna be that. So
you wrote and said you've never tried to defy genres. And I've always known that about you. But what is weird, yeah, is that like people, for me, I see it as like people that may not have paid detailed attention to what it is that you're doing have always tried to box you in some way, shape or form. Like, why do you think that is?
I think if I sat down with anyone who had those opinions of like, yo, like, what's my man doing? Like, no, he's just doing, why is he doing melody and like, if I sat down with one of those people and I said, yo, let's go on a detailed journey of
Fab,
like,
you've been doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing it. Like from 2014, from my first mixtape, 168 the mixtape, there's rhythms on there that, bruv, as in, if for anyone who watches this, 168 the mixtape, as in, there's rap, there's ballads, and these times I might be 19 years old, 20 years old. This is old school thing that I made with Das, big up Das. And then Dreamer's Disease, the first track is an intro over like a piano, like really, like, yeah. And then the second track is an R&B rhythm, Forever. Then even the rhythm Dreamer's Disease is like this kind of like floaty, dreamy, like beautiful rap, like my live lounges, all my offerings, like at every period of my career, even when I was doing the Wicked Skateman freestyles, every period of my career, I've had my rap offerings, my grime offerings, and I've had some soul or some gospel or some melody or some R&B, down to my Justin Bieber covers that I've done. All That Matters is from 2014, 15, and even them times that was like, that might have even been 2013. I was covering Justin Bieber and like that. So that's always existed in my career, but again, a lack of attention. And even then, I'm not mad at anyone for that. I get it. Like, there's artists where I might think, yo, like, that's that artist, but I haven't taken the time. And even you can't even expect people to take the time to understand you. So it's fine, innit? But secondly, I don't know. I feel like, if I'm being honest, I think the success of everything is probably one of the biggest reasons for like people having their opinions or having their like kind of energy towards myself and my career and my decisions, because I've been successful. So I think a lot of the time things look like, I can't explain it, but I always feel like, yeah, like it's like, he's the cheat code, man, and he's trying to do this to do that. But I generally think if I weren't successful, people would think I'm this maverick, like, and he's just, he's the artist, and like he's does just that.
On his own thing.
Like,
he's just on it,
But I think the success of things like makes it seem like sometimes I do things for like mainstream, or sometimes I do things for like a different ulterior motive other than music. Also, I think the climate in our country and what it's been from the beginning of like black music in terms of what it means to be a young MC or what it means to be a black artist has, do you know what I mean? I think even the public's relationship with that, and then I come along, coming through grime culture, coming up as an MC, and then I do what I do, and then it's like, it's a bit like, find your lane, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, as in, I don't know. I feel like even I'm a bit disruptive in that sense, in terms of what are you doing with Little Mix and what are you doing with Nick Jonas? But you can't, like, it's like, I think that as well. And then also a black man, maybe, I don't know. Like Twin said that the other day. He can explain it way better than me. And when he said it, I thought, okay, that's interesting. Like maybe like what it means to be a black MC or a young black rapper, like a young black male, 6'5", like I don't know, like, but even that, I don't think that's the, because I genuinely
think
feel
it's subconscious though. I don't think that's a conscious thing. I think that is a subconscious. I think that if people actually sat down and really unpacked why they did feel that way, if it's never that deep for anyone, but if they did, I feel like that would be a part of it. Like the stature, the way that someone looks, the masculine energy of it. Do you get what I'm saying? And then to see someone sort of like dip like over to the other side or whatever is confusing for some people. But for me, I literally the other day, yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone, and she was talking about feeling lost and whatnot. And I was saying, like, You know what? See, in this life, yeah. Do you ever remember, like, back in the day, where sometimes you might see these films where at the end there's like the man in the whip and he's driving towards the sunset, and it's almost like the symbol of like he's driving into his success or happiness or whatever. It could just be him on his own or him and his missus. Yeah. I said that, like, I always see life like that, but as you're driving towards it, like, make the benefit, like, use the benefit of life in it. Like, sometimes you might just take a little left turn and say, like, right, what's down there? You might go down that left hand and then not even like it. Then you might bust the right and be like, nah, I like this. This inspires me. Like, don't limit yourself. If the thing on the right inspires you, go down there and see how far it takes you for a little bit. You can always jump back on this road. And that's why I think that your musical career has been a lot like that, with you kind of just dipping in and out and just being as free as you possibly could be at certain points by, like, expressing that musically. Yeah. But now you've done it, like, even more so. And I think it's a proper brave thing to do, man.
Thank you, bro. I was even saying it earlier, like, I'm really happy to, like, stand on a stage, sing my truth, rap my truth, do whatever, and have everyone throw tomatoes at me. I'm fine with that because I understand there's glory in that, in the sense of it's a Bible story, innit? Like, whether it's Moses or Abraham or whoever, who the people, God was ordaining them to do something or be someone, and the people said, no, da, and then they went through it, and then, do you know what I mean, the promised land. Do you know what I mean? So I said, I'll get to my promised land, innit? Because what I'm doing is rooted in truth, innit? Like, and I've heard it all, like, over the years, like, and so even, like, me and Wiley, like, and me and Wiley are cool now, it's blessed, but, like, I understood what he meant. Like, I understood what he was getting at in terms of you, like, and I get, again, I understand to a lot of people, I represent something that I don't represent. And it was going to take some time for people to figure it out. And Twin always used to tell me that it's going to take time, like, because when you sing, people think you're doing something. When you link up with Ed Sheeran, people think you're doing something. When you do this, people think, nah, you're not culture. Yes, you use the culture, you're selling out the culture, like. And imagine this whole time, I've felt like, imagine feeling like, how do I explain it? Like a kid, like, where you're like, just like the best way to explain it is like the energy that a kid will have, where it's like, you just feel like, yo, I just want to play football. And everyone's thinking, nah, they're grabbing the ball like, nah, man, you're this and you're that. And you're thinking, yo, I just want to play football. Like, I always felt like just a kid in terms of, why does everyone feel like this about me? Why do people misunderstand me? Why do people... I just love music. I'm a music man to the T. I love music and I want to dabble in music, but I was like, I get it. What I represent and what people think I'm doing and the spirit in which people think I'm doing things, it's not that.
Right.
And that's where the Wiley thing happened, because it's like, you're with Ed and you're doing this and you're doing that and you came from grime and you're doing that, like, and with time and understanding, we've gotten to a better place where he understands me, innit? But it's like, when I link up with Ed, I'm not trying to go number one. That's my brother, and if I do it, own it, and I'm like, yo, Ed will sound cold in this. Then we get Burner on it and it's cold, and then God willing, it's a number one. Ed has a rhythm, take it back to, like, let me jump on it, boom, we do it. But what people think I represent and who people think I am, and the spirit, I'm like, yo, that's never been a thing. They hear of Rossi Bop and they think man's figured out a formula. I'm like, no, that's a rhythm that I heard on Snapchat, that Chris Ander was in the studio 2015 on Snapchat, and he played this rhythm. I said, cuz, I'm coming there now. Sure. And I went there, you ain't got a clue, let's be honest. And I was barring, and then had the hook, saw Vossi online doing the Vossi Bops, put the hook on it, lo and behold, hit. And the perfect time when I understood, I said, oh, I get it, was Shut Up.
Right.
I released Shut Up, and I will never forget it, because at the time, I remember the energy so well, yeah? Shut Up was the hardest freestyle on the roads. It weren't this big fucking festival, like this kind of like British staple of like, it was the hardest freestyle on the roads. It was over Havana, and I was barring. And I remember the energy that I got from the world, from black culture, British culture, everyone, was this shoot is fucking cold. I remember it vividly. Like, I remember, that's a feeling I super remember. I remember the time and place. I remember when it dropped. I remember even the slow build. I remember when it was at 3 million views, and I remember that feeling of it.
Yeah.
And I remember, but then what happened with time and success was it became a little bit corny. It became like a little bit cheesy. The hard freestyle that was the hardest thing that became a little bit cheesy.
You think?
Yeah, it did, and I felt it in the sense of like, of course, like till this day, if you come to any show, it's a fucking riot. Like it goes
Yeah,
off.
it goes
But in
mad.
terms of like, I just remember people's energy in terms of what I was to grime or what I was to culture. Like it was like that's that thing.
Yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
thing.
that's that thing. That's like not rooted in like our thing or our blackness or our community. And I was like, and I just thought, what is that? And I feel like it was success. It's people's relationships with black artists and our success. So think about who's coming before me and when they're successful. And also, sorry, I'm just going off
do it.
Because also, I always looked at like how people viewed. Remember, there was the era of like of the grime MCs making their pop attempts, yeah.
Right.
And I always felt like, it's interesting people's relationship with that and a relationship with me doing a shut up or a Blinded by Your Grace. And I said, so is Blinded by Your Grace the hill that we die on? Is that the thing where it's like, my man's just, and I said, Blinded by Your Grace Part 2, or me doing a cold rhythm with Little Mix. I said, and I just clocked, it's interesting people's relationship with things, because I said, there was a time when I was coming up and I saw all the grime MCs make pop attempts, and I understood it. Because
Same.
I understood it, and I'm never here to sit here and say like, I stand on their shoulders in terms of they had to do things to allow me to exist, innit?
Facts.
And I saw them, and they had their attempts at success, and they went for it. And then I thought to myself, I'm not even having an attempt at success, but I think because it's really successful, it's people's relationship with it. It's a strange thing, and these are things that I've had to grow to understand, and with growth as well, and God in terms of like just making me a better man. Like I'm like, okay, I understand you.
Right.
I understand who I've become and how people think I've gotten there and how people think I do things in. And even till this day, like I remember when I first started Industry Plant, they think I've been, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and you know Twin, you know us, you know, and it's like, bro, like this is hard work and the glory of God, like, but people have always felt like, that Storm's things, his things, like it's not really like. And
Sometimes
like,
what happens, bro, is that like sometimes people, not everyone, but sometimes people make excuses for their failures. So what they do is they will say, you only got there because of that. But ultimately what they're saying is that it didn't work out for me, so I'm going to make an excuse for him doing that and him going up there like that. Do you know, I talk about this all the time. I'm like, I say like, there's a era in black music that we just don't even talk about no more. Everyone's just forgotten about it or whatnot. But I ain't forgotten about it, but not in a negative way. It's like at the time, I definitely understood it. And in fact, I just cheered a lot of them because I knew at the time, some of them were actually, even though it was an uncomfortable period at times, they were kicking down doors in certain ways.
100%.
And that needed to happen in order for all of this to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think if people are doing things for the greater good, then no one should be looking at that in any type of weird way.
100%.
Because ultimately, you being successful of that is a byproduct of what's happened here. Do you get what I'm saying? But you know what, bro? Let me get into some music very quickly, because there's still so much I want to go on in what you said, yeah? Anyway, so now I'm like, cool, where's Stormzy going? I turned on the album and I heard this.
It's probably best we wait. It's probably best we found a fire from this perfect match to burn us to the ground. And even though it's cold outside, it's probably best we pray to lead us from this drought. If your love is my holy water, girl, just let me drown. don't, it's fine.
Fast forward quickly.
It's probably best we wait, probably best we found a fire from this perfect match to burn us to the ground. And even though it's cold outside, it's probably best we pray, lead us from this drought. If your love is my holy water.
Do you know what you said? You said, I made peace with the idea that nobody may like it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that difficult?
Nah. Nah. In this sense of like I've just understood, like, I just really understand who I am in this world, and I understand like the grand design that God's doing in my life, like the grand architecture that he's doing, and just I always say like God's the grand architect in terms of everything I'm meant to do, everywhere I'm meant to go, he's ordained it. So it's like, with this album, I knew like, yeah, I was meant to make this, and this is like what I was meant to make, and this is what feels so good to my spirit and my soul. And even with that, I know that because of that, people will like it. People will like it somewhere, innit? Like, but I also understood that, again, back to the relationship, or like that. And again, also, some people might just not like that. I'm not even here to act like people don't like it because of. Some people might hear it and it's like, hey, turn that shit off, and that's fine. And there's some people who genuinely feel like that. I can't dispute it.
I think it's supposed to be like that.
Do you know what I mean? And
I think it's supposed to be. The reason why I think it's supposed to be, and this is what I wanted to say before and something that you said, I think a good place to be musically is nowhere impartial. Like, people say, yeah, do you know what? Nah, I like him.
Yeah.
Or do you know what? Nah, I don't fuck with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if you had a whole bunch of people that were just like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Like, that's a terrible place to be,
I say
bro.
that too. And in that, like, yeah, so I'm not even here to denounce that, like, some people just won't like it, but then I think there's some people who, like, just, Rod, Storm, like, why would you sing? Like, why come up, like, and for those people, it was like, I get that they might not like it. They might hear a Fire Baby and think, what the fuck, bro? And I was like, I've got to do it. It's what's in my spirit, innit? So it weren't hard at all. Like, I think all I had left was to be brave. I didn't have nothing left. Like, I was like, yo, like, I don't want to make GSAP again. I don't want to make Heavy as the Head again. I just want to make whatever feels good. And then whilst I was making it, I didn't even know at the beginning, but somewhere down the line, I clocked, oh, hang on, this is a bit brave, like. This is a bit brave. We had the word on the whiteboard, brave, freedom, and then I was like, rah, fucking hell, like, yeah, that starting the album with that is a bit like, rah, what's my man doing, like? And also, I thrive in like risk. Not that it's a risk, because it don't even feel like a risk to me, but I thrive in like being outside the box. I thrive in being, if everyone thinks that man should do this, and then I'm doing something else, like I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy being gangster. As much as I never do it intentionally, it's like sometimes I end up out of the box and I'm like, rah, that's hard. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm in the box and it's Mel made me do it.
Right.
And I'm like, that's hard. But imagine me making Mel made me do it, and I'm like, oh man, people want this, let me not do it. Nah, do you get what I mean? As in, if I happen to do it and I'm like, oh, people are really gonna like this.
Yeah.
All the best, but I can't control the relationship that people have with me. But also, on the brighter side of things, there's a whole leap of people who are my people who really enjoy my music.
Of course.
Do you get what I mean? But I think because of
You gotta do it for you first. Man. You gotta do it for you
always,
first, bro.
always.
And then whatever happens after that is what happens. You said it's a bigger operation. What's with all the speculation?
Had to close the store for renovations. My cousin said storms, man, they're running out of patience, you know. Time to make a statement. Time to free my mind and limitations. Finesse the majors, that's my form of reparations. They said you can't slide, you're a treasure to the nation, but what they gonna do, what they gonna say? Storm's got that sauce, this that bolognese. Talking about the bread like it correlates. I see you looking bothered with your bothered face. Even though we're coming from a common place, all I see is stars like we in a rave. So give him room to grow and just give him space. And he could be a young black Jimmy Nates. Oh, this is clean. This is clean. This is what I mean. I said, this is what I mean. All my niggas got it, we unanimous.
What do you mean? This is what you mean. What do you mean, bro?
I mean it all. I mean it all. I mean everything I said, every style, every lyric, everything, man. And I've just got into that stage, and I keep saying it as well, where it's like, heavy is the head was like, and I've done it all the time. Gang signs and prayer. Heavy is the head. Like I've always dabbled with the understanding that, like, yeah, you're this strong man, but then you're vulnerable. Or yeah, you can fuck up a rhythm, but you know you can also sing your heart out on one. Like I've always dabbled in that juxtaposition, and this time, like, bruv, whatever in it. This is what I mean. Like whatever. This is what I mean, and in its entirety. As in for the rest of my life, if God forbid, I go today, you can take this album and that's what I mean. In every sense, this is how I feel, this is what I love, this is everything. So... Do
you remember when you thought like, because I know you went away, you was in Essex for a little while, right? What's the place called?
OC Island.
OC Island, yeah. And then you had like producers and stuff like that. It's kind of like a traditional-ish camp, right? Music camp or whatever. Did you go in knowing the theme already, or did you just go in and just like, I mean, you kind of mentioned it before about being free and whatnot, but that, knowing that this is what I mean, like, was there a certain time within recording where you got that? I saw a video footage of you and Progression in studio together, and he was playing you a rhythm or whatever, and you kind of got up and you was like, right, this is top bins. This is top bins. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, was it kind of one of them type of moments?
Yeah, I think from the beginning, from Fire and Water, when Progression first played them chords, like, I was like, yeah, man, this is like, and again, I said it before, like, I've always had mad creative jealousy, like, which is, I think is just a great thing to have. Like,
what do you mean?
As in, I wish I wrote that song.
Okay.
Or fucking, I wish I said that lyric. Or I wish I thought of that idea. Yeah. I get it all the time. I think, imagine you're a footballer and you look at Lionel Messi and you think, the way he turned, and then fucking nutmeg my man. And it's a great aspiration to have, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? So I've always had that, like, so when I make a G-Sap and I make a Velvet, bearing in mind, there's bare rhythms that I've always known I could make from when I first started spitting. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's another thing. There's rhythms where I know that's in my trajectory. And then there's rhythms that, as a young black man, coming from where we come from, we're never in with that producer. Like, if I'm on the ends with a man them and we're going studio and we're all burning weed and we're getting beats off of YouTube and we're just spitting, how do I ever make Velvet?
Right.
How do I ever make Cigarettes and Kush? You know what I mean? As much as I love R&B and I love soul, and how do I ever make it? So then G-Sap, I'm making it. I'm like, oh shit, raw, I'm my man. Yes, like, this is my rhythm. Like, I can't wait to play it to my sister. Like, yo, like, you know, I made this, like, this vibe, like. And then Heavy is the Head, like a Don't Forget to Breathe, or like a Do Better. And I'm like, ooh, like so I've always touched on these points where I'm like, yes, man, I'm being that artist where I've heard artists do that, but I've never thought I could do it.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with this is what I mean, like, from when Progression first played that Fire and Water chord, and it's probably best we wait, I was like, yes, that's something I would hear someone do. I could hear Frank do that, or I could hear Stevie sing that, and I think, fucking no, this is so cold. And I'm like, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Like, so I think from then, I just, from that first thing, I said, this album is about anything that resonates in my spirit enough where I think, fucking, I can't believe this is me. I can't believe we made that. Like, and that was the whole process. So even when we made Hide and Seek, oh girl, you're shining, like, and I'm hearing it, I'm like, that's man, like, that vibe, that soul, like, and people are gonna feel that. That's us. And this is the kind of thing I would have heard someone else do. And heard it and think, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I'll text it to bro and I'll say, cuz, have you heard my man's new rhythm? Yeah. Fuck, he's gone crazy, like. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, like, we're doing that. It's mine now, like. And just like, yeah, this is what I mean. And even on this is what I mean, I've got a lyric where I say, so give him room to grow and just give him space, and he could be a young black Jimmy Napes.
Right.
Like, man could be man's Jimmy Napes, like,
yeah.
man's Chris Martin. As much as like, and the reason why like I always talk about this because thank God for all these brilliant people who have come before me because I knew I could be them. Wiley, Skepta, Wretch, Gets that. You lot have shown man it's possible, like. And then when Wretch does a 6 words, and I'm a young black youth who loves melody, and I'm thinking, I can't sing, but I wrote you a song, yeah? I'm thinking, rah.
I know where you're going.
Bro, and I'm thinking, wow, man can do that. Like, man can do that, like, or a Drake, or a Kanye, all these people who are fucked with melody, and like, I'm like, wow, man can do that, yeah? Like, and it gives man confidence, like, so that's why, again, like, I've always found it a little bit sometimes, because sometimes I get it, sometimes it's just like, yo, that youth shit, that's fine, or that shit. A Fire Babe, I get it, sometimes it's like, yo, but sometimes I find like, sometimes the way people treat, it's a little bit dangerous in the sense of like, let you stream, bro. Like,
Facts.
Do you get what I mean? That's the only, because I get it again. After this, hopefully, some people, it resonates and they're like, okay, my man ain't doing it off of success or mainstream or nothing. He's doing it because he loves music. But sometimes they're like, yo, let you stream, bruv. Because even I always think, if I listen to all the noise that surrounded man from the past 8 years, man don't get here. Man don't get to this album because like, people would have killed it off. Nah, you don't do that, you don't do that. Thank God I'm resilient, and thank God the God I serve is so great and so mighty and so wonderful. So glory be to God first and foremost. But it's like, imagine I listened, or imagine like it like I let it get in my nervous system. Yeah.
Dream, bro. And you know what the maddest thing is, and I've been screaming this recently on the pod, yeah? Like, we all have different experiences, and it's okay. You know that? And what I mean by that is as well, like, even as a black man, yeah, I'm like, a lot of the time, sometimes when I feel like people are talking about certain things, we get pinned in a bit. Like, oh, so we're this, so we're just supposed to, and we do it to ourselves sometimes. It's like, we talk about something from one angle, and I'm like, yo, see, as black people, yeah, there's so many different black experiences, isn't it? Like, there's people that come from a certain area that, you know, let's say, for example, we could have lived on the same estate, but my experience to your experience
totally
is
different.
Completely different. Like, my parents could have been together and your parents may not have been. Or, you know, like, we listen to this in a household, you listen to that in a household, I've got this political view, you've got that political view. There's all of these different elements to that, yeah. And sometimes I feel like the default for a lot of people when it's time to get into music is, when I jump on this music thing, I'm going to do that. I'm like, nah, hold on, wait, what's your experience?
What's your thing? 100%.
What's
100%,
yours?
100%. And with this album, I'll be so real. That's why it's even funny, like, how it's all panned out, because, bro, I'm making this album, and I'm trying to tap into things, and I clocked, bro, you're a little bit heartbroken, you know?
To bits.
Like, do you get what I mean? And it's like, yo, you gotta, I get it, you're Storms, and you've gone through your career, and and all the bravado, and all the, but I was like, that ain't you right now, bro. Like, and even understanding that, that's even a bit funny. That's a bit jokes, like heartbreak, like,
bro, I'm gonna get to that.
A big 6'5" black man, like, who's whoever people think I am, like, in this world or this game.
Can't get up out of bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what? At first, well, later on down the line, we can laugh at it and whatever. Yeah. But at the time, it's real.
Yeah.
Like,
Course,
you know what I'm saying? We'll get to that still, but talk me through this. Let me know where you were on this day when you said, God in all my flows.
Heaven in my tracks, my kettle's all gold, my presidents are black. See Jackie on the front line and Wretches in the back. Remember when they told us just to rap? Over the years we've been ill-advised. They told us just one at a time, that's the biggest lie. A wise man once asked who ate all the pies, and now he's looking at me funny like I took his slice. Oh, what a life, I can't war with no broken man. They start a war, it never goes to plan. Cool. Jigger told me crabs in the bucket, I said I overstand. So you, my brother, you can hold my hand. You wouldn't know about the combos that we had to change the rules. Didn't know that I will give my arm and leg to help you move. Didn't know we're trying to implement our history through the schools. You can keep the gems, I give you jewels.
Hard. Hard. Yeah. I feel like that was even so Progressions made that rhythm, and I had that for time. I had the first 4 bars for time. Probably took me a year and a half to even approach it properly. Like, and God in all my flows, heaven in my track. My kettle's all gold. My presidents are black. See Jackie on the front line and Wretches in the back. Remember when they told us just to rap? And I had that for time. And in my head, like, if I'm making an album called This Is What I Mean, like I said it during Heavy Is the Head time, and I listened to Heavy Is the Head, and I'm like, yeah, kind of. But this time around, I was like, who you are today, you can't miss a lyric. You don't waste the lyric. You don't waste the melody. So, and I think I've done that to a T on this album, where it's like, even a Fire and Water, if I'm talking about my relationship, no cap. Don't even put that little lyric that, you know, the one that rhymes and it sounds good. No. No, as in, stick to the absolute essence of like what you're talking about. Mean it in its entirety. So with My Presidents Are Black for time, and I said, I want to, even the way the rhythm was making me feel was like, it's like a wretch pocket. It's like a jigger pocket
100.
where it's like, it's effortless, it's bossy, like, but I was like, I don't feel like Mel made me do it. Where it's like you MCs and these niggas and I was like, it ain't that. And even I don't feel like I was like, it's not a high horse thing of like where I've gotten to, and now I'm telling like, you know, yes, young kids, man, it was like, what's your perspective like? What's your perspective as a black man in terms of who you've become, and also you are that guy, like you're that guy, innit? Like, so talk from that perspective. But talk what you mean, like, and it all just came out from there, like. So even a wise man once asked who ate all the pies, and now he's looking at me funny like I took his slice. Oh, what a laugh, I can't war with no broken man. They start a war, it never goes to plan. Jigger told me crabs in the bucket, I said I overstand. So you, my brother, you can hold my hand. So even during that time, that was with the Wiley stuff had probably just finished, or like roundabouts, maybe like months ago. And I was thinking, the man who I'm becoming, thank God for growth, I was like, I don't hate this guy. I don't want to fight him. And maybe at a time I might have had a lot of animosity, like, but I was like, nah, if I'm who I want to be and I'm the man I'm trying to be, it's love. It's love. Like, I exist because of you. Like, Jigger told me crabs in the bucket. I said, oh, you my brother, you can hold my hand. And even, it goes back to what we said at the beginning of the convo, where it's like, my growth has allowed me to understand perspective.
Right.
There's people who hate me, dislike me, and I understand it. I'm not even mad at them. I think, if I'm real, there's like a young boy from South London who still has a temper and still has ego and still has pride, who sometimes he might think, like, what? But the man I'm trying to be just understands, like, no, do you know what? I get it. I get that I've become this person and I've done this. And from your lens, although it's false, from your lens, it might look like I'm doing that.
100%.
Which is, I thank God, and I credit myself. Like, I credit myself in the sense of, that is mad growth. To look at people and say, I get why you dislike me and I'm not mad at you for it. Like, and yeah, I think that whole perspective, that whole time, like, and even on that lyric, like, it's the community provider, the multiple diss track survivor, glory be to God, Jehovah Jireh. Like, I was understanding, like, I'm bulletproof, innit?
Right.
I was understanding I'm bulletproof, like, plus I am that guy.
Yeah.
Which sounds mad to come out of that guy's mouth, but it's like,
no, it's
even
not.
Even throughout all this time, when it's like, I'm like, yes, like, even all of this exists around me because I'm that guy, innit?
Right.
Like, so, yeah, that one was a
I
real...
like the reach out quickly as well.
It's for my niggas who ain't make it to the prem. Hope they see the bigger picture when they frame it through their lens. I pray my brothers make it in the end. To be fair, we never had no odors. This for my Kofis and my Adiolas. You get the trophies when you plan and focus. You're now tuned into my magnum opus. They wanna chat me whilst they sat on sofas, but I'm Serena for you Sharapovas. Win again and win again. Like
The breakdown on that.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That one's, yeah, man. And...
Yeah, you're proud of that.
Mad proud of it. And even it's jokes, because even like, it's yeah, man. That's like I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life.
course.
I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life, like at the highest degree as well, like. And I take it seriously. I take like rap seriously. I take music seriously. I take singing seriously. Like, so when I hear something like that, again, before anyone hears it, I'm in my pocket and I'm super proud of it, and I'm super like, yeah, man.
Let's go back and dig a little bit deeper now. 2019 /20, I think will probably be, if I'm speaking for you, will be a time that you'll never forget. And I'll say that because you came off the high of doing Glastonbury. You also came off the high of starting and finishing your second album. You came off a low of a relationship breakup. You came off a high of releasing an album. Then the low of a pandemic. And then the low of a cancellation of tour, postponing. After all of that, where was your head at?
It's mad because the tour cancellation probably felt like more of a time to breathe than it did feel like a low, you know. It felt like, oh shit, it felt like half term. You know, like when school got cancelled, like, and it's like, oh shit, I was ready to go to school, but yo,
all right, cool,
if it's cancelled, it's cancelled, innit? Like, so, yeah, I think, that just drew me to a place of stillness. Probably the biggest part of that time was coming off social media.
Right.
Yeah, I came on social media just after the Brits, so February 2020. That was probably like, because social media's fucking noisy.
I was gonna say,
It's fucking
I was actually
noisy,
gonna ask you as well. Like, did the politics of the media, not just social media, but also like paper media and that, was it really starting to affect you?
Nah, because I've overstood them from the beginning of my career. Like, me being who I am, they're very sneaky with my name. Like, how they play with my name and how I'm like, oh, bruv, you lot are. To the point where even on the album, on Please Leave Megan Alone, I'm like, okay, I before they even do anything, I know exactly what they're going to do.
You know where that's going.
I know exactly what they're going to do, innit? So, like, I feel like I've just always really understood that, like, and even I've understood that caters for a certain type of person. So even if we're even talking about that, it's like whatever, innit? Like, but I think more so just coming off social media gave me enough, like, it gave me enough silence in my life because it's mad noisy. As an artist, as a musician, I need to live in clarity.
Yeah.
I need to live in clarity, like, and for something, even without even getting too deep in it, for something that warps reality and affects clarity and distracts, that just can't be the best place for me, innit? Do you get what I mean? Personally, yeah.
There's still like a lot of vulnerability though in like some of the things that you're saying and that on the album, and I'm sure that like a lot of that is in reflection. Holy Spirit, there's a few things that you say in there. Also in Please, like almost sounds like a prayer, like, do you know what I mean? And in that as well, you mentioned, actually before I get to that, you mentioned that you was at your lowest when you bought yourself the double R. Where was that?
I was actually in Dubai. And to be fair, it was like, Dubai was a beautiful time, but before we went to Dubai.
By the way, I don't mean like where did you actually buy the whip?
Oh yeah, no. As in where was that in
that period?
Yeah, that was when was Dubai, bro? January 2021. Yeah, January 2021. And I'd gone to Dubai with all my family and my friends. Like, loads of us just got a big house and we was praying there. Like, we'd wake up 7 a.m. every day and pray. Then we'd go for a run and then go gym and then sit together and eat. Like really like a beautiful, like powerful retreat. And we went there because at the time my spirit was really low, man. Like, it was just like, my energy was just sapped, like, and I didn't have much creative juice. Like, I didn't want to go studio in London. Like, I landed back in London from Ghana. I was like, no. This ain't the one, like. So we went to Dubai. And whilst I was in Dubai, I was seeing bare, come on, you're seeing it every day, innit? Like,
yeah, of course.
And I remember thinking, I can get one of these, like, literally.
And you're thinking that probably at some point that's going to at least give some sort of temporary
Yeah,
happiness.
yeah. I just thought, like, because even it was such a, because even with my money, I don't, I like a kettle, as
Yeah,
everyone
strong.
knows.
Yeah, yeah.
But apart from a kettle and sometimes I dress nice when Mel's around. Like,
Yeah,
but
shout out
apart
to
from
Mel.
that, I'm not, you know what I mean? I ain't in the club. I'm like, I'm not. There's not much. I'm not balling out of control. Long story short, innit? Like, so I remember being in Dubai and like seeing all these. And I said, yeah, bro. And even the, the relationship with money like that a young black man has, coming from where we come from, is even funny because like, as much as I'm not balling out of control, I'm also not enjoying the fruits of my labor. Like, I've probably only started doing that now because it's like, what, $250,000 on a car? Fuck, you can't do that. Like, and I remember I text Toby, like, I was like, yo, man's thinking of getting the double R. He was like, go on then. Like, you know, she was like, what the fuck, bro? I was like, do it. Like, get a couple of them if you fucking want, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but even then, I don't know why I bought it. I bought it because like I thought, oh, this will be lit, but that's not a reason to spend £250,000, like, or maybe. I don't know, innit? Like, but
Maybe.
I remember it was like, yeah, and then when I went to write that song, like, and I just had to tap into emotion, I was like, raw, like, and thank God, I think I've moved a long way from there now. Now I really love that car.
Yeah, you enjoy it now.
We
Yeah,
got there in the end.
You got there
I was
in the
like, yeah, this is fucking nice. But at the time, and I'm super. Even I think people would realize if they've watched this video up until this point, they'll understand that I'm a extremely reflective and deep person. I think I got two bags. There's I have a stupid Storms who just fucking farts on these lot and just is an idiot. And there's this other version where I'm super like, as in everything's deep to me and everything requires thought and everything requires
I'm quite the same.
because I think things are deep. Like,
same.
just, old man's buying the Rolls. Why?
Yeah.
Why did what? Like, do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not that deep to people, but I think a lot of things are deep. So when I look back at it, I was like, rah, like, what was you covering there? Like, what was you trying to gain? Like, was you trying to tell the world, like, yeah, like, you're this person? And I said to myself after, and I said it to Bra, because I was with my brethren one time, and he said to me, I was with Sleeks, you know, Smart
of
Boys,
course,
yeah.
yeah.
And I remember I was driving with him one time, and he said, bro, how does it feel? Like, I'm saying, like, yeah, so it's all right. And then when he said that to me, I had to think about it for a few days, and then I remember saying to Bra, like, this car doesn't make anyone think, if I'm Storms, and I've been Storms, and no one looks at that car and think, Storms is really Stormsing, like. do you get what I mean in the sense of like, if I was as lit as I was before that, like,
I see it like that a bit though, but my perspective is different because my perspective is more like, okay, the best way to put it is this, yeah? I am refusing to normalise Stormzy doing O2 Arena 3 times in a row. I'm not normalising Dave doing it twice. I'm not normalising Koji Radical doing Brixton Academy. I'm not normalising these things. Yeah, because I just think I was there when it was not that at all.
100%, yeah.
And so for that, because of how far it's come, when I see it, it's the Bashi song. When I see black boys on the pitch, I'm like,
yeah, 100%.
so it's the same when I see the whip.
Yeah, 100%,
Regardless of
100%.
whether the music, whatever, we critique that, whatever it may be, yeah. But life aside, no. I hope, you know what, splurge, do that.
Yeah,
but also, on top of that, I wish everyone, women as well. When I say man, I don't just mean man, I mean women as well. But I'm like, I wish peace of mind
100%.
on top of that.
Amen.
Do you get what I'm
100%.
saying?
100%.
Reflection and soul searching is something that I feel like I've seen with you as well. And you mentioned, please Lord, give me the strength to forgive my dad, for he is flawed. Now you've got to a stage in your life where you're a little bit older. Have you reconnected with your pops, or like have you actually had a conversation with him about where you was and how you felt, and like gone with him?
I haven't even been putting it off. I've said it a load of times to my mum and to my sister. And like, yeah, I want to do it. And I think even 2 weeks ago, I said to my sister, like, yeah, Tuesday.
What's holding you back?
I don't know, man. I'm someone, even it's not even as deep as like something holding me back. I think I'm someone who like very much can just lives in his own time. You see, like even my pops, or even like Wiley, and I spoke to Wiley. It was a beautiful conversation. So even
Honourable shout out
yeah,
to
so
Wiley.
yeah, shout out Wiley. Like I'll say that on record as well, because even the lyric on there, I can't war with no. I hit him up before
War
it
with
came
no
up.
broken man.
Yeah, because we had that interaction, and I hit him, and I was like, yo, by the way, my album's coming next week, and there's a lyric in it, which the lyric is more rooted in love and like, but there is the line of like, I can't walk, and I was like, and he was like, yo, bro, I overstand you, it's love, so big up Wiley. But I think I'm able to make peace with people away from them. So sometimes I feel like I don't need to have the
Right.
conversation.
Right.
Because with my pops, again, living like the mind that I have and being so self-reflective, I can make sense of things, and I walk my dogs a lot, which is a great time for me to like think and pray, and I can go a whole day of not speaking. Like even like my team will know. Like there's days where I'm fucking shy, and there's days where like I might be in a bit of a mood and I'm on my phone and I'm not saying nothing, but in that time I'm thinking. I'm a thinker, like, and I'm not an overthinker because I reject that. I'm not like
I am.
yeah.
But I overthink do you know what is weird? I overthink myself out of overthinking. So like, I'll be overthinking, then I'll realise, I'm overthinking. Or like, I'll be like, oh, you know what, Chuck's like, let's just say for example, just as a light example, right now, Chuck's, man, you're not even going to flip and execute this conversation properly. You've been wanting to do this for time, you can't even do it. Then I start thinking, nah, but hold on 1 second, I'm here for a reason. I'm the flipping,
yeah.
like, there's a reason why I'm, so then and then I just try to park it as that.
Okay, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's I don't say that's overthinking though. I think that's how people are meant to think. I think, and again, because I've had conversations with people, I've had conversations with people and I'm like, you don't take life seriously enough. Like, you don't take life seriously enough. And of course, like, life is balance. We're meant to laugh and joke and vibe and all the jokes, but then there is a side where you're right. If you're having the conversation today, you're meant to think of that to a certain level and assess yourself vigorously and come to a conclusion. Like, but I think there is an overthinking where if you've done that for a week on just non-stop and you came to no conclusion, then yeah, that's overthinking. But I think we're meant to think, and we're meant to think extensively, and we're meant to think deeply about things that mean enough to us.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes my brother might say something to me and I'm like, bruv, that's a dead thing to be thinking about. That doesn't need your time. But sometimes when it's your work, when it's your pups, when it's a legend and a pioneer who you love and respect, that requires enough thought. And I think with my dad, I think I've made so much peace with it, and I understand every perspective of what it could have been, that I'm like, it's cool, I'm fine with it. But I guess as a man of God, what I need to do is give him that peace. It's all good me having that peace, but I haven't given him that peace, and my peace can give him that peace. So I definitely need to do that, like, because again, I've had this conversation a lot of times where I'm like, someone can do me wrong, and I've done the thinking and the rigorous assessment of it that makes me think, I understand why you did that wrong. Or say if someone takes £20 from my house and they didn't have no money, I understand why you did that, and I understand, you know what, you probably, the way I am, I'm probably, I'm tough enough where you thought, I can't ask him, and he might, you know, and all the flipping, but then I'll just burn the bridge and I don't need to speak to you. Where sometimes have the conversation in it. So I encourage myself today to go have the conversation, because it's not, me having the peace ain't what God wants. God wants you to give people peace.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you feel, see, like within the scene, do you ever feel underappreciated? The reason why I asked that, is because, like, I know that sometimes, as much of success as you've had, and all the things that you've done, that sometimes, I guess, like, your name comes up in certain conversations, and it's almost as though people don't always respect exactly what it is that you've done. Does that ever make you feel underappreciated?
No, because And big up Twin 1,000 times, because Twin has really just guided me through my life and my career, like on a human one and on a musician one. But I think he's just really prepped me to understand that what I'm doing and the stature of what I'm doing, you might not get your flowers, like, and you might not get like the appreciation, you might not get anything. And not that we do it for those things, but so I've been fine with it. And I've made my peace with that for a long time. But also, again, the God I serve will not leave me to be underappreciated. Do you get what I mean? Like, so I think maybe it's more an encouragement to go on a journey to figure out where you're appreciated and just receive it for that, and not look in places you're not and think, why don't you just like feel the love? Like, I've done an album signing, I've been doing album signings all weekend. That's appreciated. 302 arenas.
Right.
What more appreciation or validation do you need? Like, do you get what I mean? So I just want to learn to just like really just appreciate myself and just look at the world through a lens where I see the love and I don't look at the other side. And
So I remember there's a bar that you say, where you said, niggas walk through the door and never left the key. I treat Dave the way these niggas should have treated me.
How do I explain it? Maybe it's easier, and again, this is perspective, maybe it's easier for me, being who I am, to look at Dave and say, I love you, bro, and I've got you. Maybe that's an easier thing to do than it is for someone else who came before me to do it to me. Do you get what I mean? And to put context to that, again, I thank God where it's like, I've become who I've become, and again, I don't have the same, I have a different kind, but it's not the same. I have a different kind of stress and turbulence and obstacles that people before me may have had. So that might affect me differently. That affects them differently. So when a storm pops up, do you know what I mean? You get that?
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah, like, yeah, I think, and I've always said that because for time I've had to think about this for years. Like, it's something that's been ongoing for years. But I always thought it's probably easier for me to say, Dave, like, I love you, bro, and like anything you need, and I, like, go, and put my hand on them and go. Like, maybe that's an easier thing than it is for like
Someone else.
So for someone else to do that to me. Do you get what I mean?
But yeah, different circumstances.
Yeah, different
times,
circumstances.
and also like, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what people have in their heart as well.
There you go. Like, and that's not the case with everyone. Like, and again, like, again, I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but then you do get like people who have come before me who have super embraced, man. And again, another perspective of it is that, bruv, who even gives a fuck? Where I always say that sometimes, no one didn't grow up with each other. No one didn't grow up on my estate or live down the road or blah, blah, blah for it to be like, hey man, I've got you. Sometimes it's like that, because I feel like maybe there's some young artist who pops up and thinks, Storms, man, why don't you, like, you have my back like Dave? And I'm like, bruv, whatever, bro, like, the fuck? Do you get what I mean? So even that, like, sometimes I can get into this deep bag of it, and I'm like, sometimes...
You start going down a little rabbit hole with that.
But I think all of those things are fair.
Yeah.
All of them are fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's fair to feel like, hey, man, you should have embraced me, man. Like, I'm the young kid coming through, like, and you lot didn't. And it's fair to think, oh, man, you couldn't embrace me because I'm sure that you've gone through a lot, and then I come up and I'm just fucking cleaning up and I've got all this shit. And of course, humans are humans. They feel things. And then it's also fair to think, no one don't fucking know you, bruv. No one ain't your brethren. Like, what the fuck? What do you want? What do you want? Like, what do you want from me, bruv? Do you want a flipping rope? Like, all those things are fair, innit?
Yeah.
And I think if, like, the where life's taken me now, I look at all those perspectives and I understand all of them. You would like for it to be one of them, but life don't work like that. Right. And I just, I just thank God for me and Dave's dynamic, innit? Like,
Honourable shout out to Dave and his team. I like this.
I think I got my smile back. The last time I linked depression was a while back. Me and loneliness kick it from time to time. She knows the deal that I ain't hers and she ain't mine. Me and Joy got tighter, that was overdue. Paranoia doesn't shout me, but I know the truth. That nigga doesn't feel me since I quit the weed. I shout my nigga purpose, that's my realest G. I told love we should build a home. I told self-doubt you better watch your tone. Stop shouting down my line like you gon' do shit. You was my old friend, but now we on some new shit. Me and suicidal thoughts, we haven't spoke for years. You know all my deepest secrets, you know all my fears. I pray that I don't ever see your face again. Now me and peace of mind became the best of friends. My nigga.
Vocals on that. Oh my God,
ridiculous. Bro. We got India RE, the legend, the legend. But
how did you find it back? How did you find the smile back, and have you found a way to protect it?
Yeah, I found it through God. That's the only way I can put it, man. Through God, through a lot of things. But then God, as I said, God's the grand designer. Like through my amazing family and my team, through growth, through just figuring things out, but just through God, man. Just the grace of God and God's plan for me. I found it through that. And what was the second part?
Have you found a way to protect it?
Have I found a way to protect it? Yeah. I found a way to protect it in the sense of, I think a lot of the time, we're human, innit? So we fall into patterns and habits and relationships and friendships and vices and routines and habits and things and all these things that will rob you for your smile or rob you for your happiness. So perfect example, you can have a brethren and it's like, I don't feel too good, and it's like, what have you done? What did you do yesterday? I smoked weed and ate McDonald's, and I fucking done this and I done that, and I was around that bad friend, and I was around this bad friend, and I was in bed all day and da-da-da, and it's like, okay, hey, let's maybe not do that. Might make you feel a bit better, innit? Like, so I think I've figured out how to protect my smile in that sense of like, there's things that I love doing, there's people that I love being around, there's things that make me feel good that I try and just do more of that. And if in the ideal world, all us humans just find all the things that make us smile and we stay there.
Facts.
But we're human, innit? Like, and sometimes I lose my smile, innit? Like, I'm not like...
But that's normal, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we can't smile all day, every day.
Of course.
We can't do that. Do you know, I never go on social media and search people's names when an album comes out. I never do that. This is the second time I've done it. The first time I did it was with Dave when Psychodrama came out. And I did it with you, because I wanted to see what people were talking about when this dropped. And I noticed a lot of people were reacting to this.
I ain't gonna lie, you been going hard. And you shine bright, you could glow in dark. Side by side like it's Noah's Ark. It should be me by your side, cause I know your heart. Maybe if you came in with a lower guard. Maybe if we got off to a slow start. We didn't even grow apart, we just fell apart, that's the saddest part. And I had your heart, that's the maddest part. And then I go and sabotage, then it fell down like an avalanche. Coming like a nigga never had a chance.
Bro, you mentioned before earlier, yeah, and this is something that I do actually enjoy talking about, purely because I think a lot of us, yeah, are never really honest about like heartbreak or losing somebody that you care about a lot. And I think a lot of the time, we as men try to suppress it and try to just act as solid as possible. I'm assuming that like around that time, I mean, this is the most direct that I've probably heard.
Yeah, 100.
Do you get what I'm saying? I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Like, what was your coping mechanism, like going through a breakup, like especially in front of everyone?
I think I didn't have any. I think I was just like, I think that's why it was so funny at the time as well, because it was like, I can't explain it, but it's jokes, and it's like, yeah, it's like, imagine like you open the door and bare water comes in, you're just like, I can't even swim, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it just felt like. Yeah, it's a very strange thing to navigate. Again, think about it, breakups, navigating a breakup's one thing, navigating it in a public eye is two things, and then navigating it, like, just bare things as you're making it out, bare things in it, like, but yeah, I think the music was a good coping mechanism that I didn't even ever knew I needed, because I've always heard people talk about, yeah, I made music for like, it felt like therapy, and music's never felt like that for me. It just always felt like a sick thing to do, and I'm sick at it, and I enjoy it, and like, yeah, I can do it, like, but this was the first time it really felt like, yo, like, oh shit, like, that feels good. That feels good to say that and like, get that off your chest. So I reckon music, man.
What did you learn from all of that? Even if it was just about yourself.
I learned that. I learned that I was sensitive, but I feel like, did I know that before that? I probably knew that before that.
Yeah, but you know, it's different. Because the thing is, I knew that I was, but I didn't know that I was like that. Because do you know what? I think it's like one of them things, yeah, where, like, when it happens for the first time, but more from a deeper aspect, you're going through a bunch of things that you didn't even know that you would ever think or feel. You just thought, right, like, you heard about it. You'd hear about some people talking about it, and maybe even more time, you'd probably hear more women talking about it more than anything. Yeah,
100%.
So then, like, when you get to a point now where you actually feel it and you don't know what the hell is going on, it becomes a whole different thing. Like,
do you know what I learned? I learned two things. The first one is I learned that I really love love.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Tell him, bro. Tell him. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Fam, I love love.
I love love, yeah.
I love it,
Yeah.
bro. Sometimes even when I just see, like, the other day I went and got something to eat, and I looked outside and I saw like a man surprise his girl from behind. And then she turned around and then they kissed each other, and then she was just mad excited to see him. But I went outside. And I said to them, I'm just letting you know that I love love, you know. I swear. They thought I was mad, bro. I love it though.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I think I learned that. I was like, oh, I really love love, like, and I love romance, like. And the second thing I learned, which I thank God for, and Twin, listen, shout out Twin, man. What a man. That, you see Twin, like, bare things that I talk about in music and a man, I clock, rah, that's just some shit that Twin taught me. So even 90% of this convo and this realizations
It's
and all
through
this,
him.
yeah, it's through him, like, it's through him. But one time he said to me, he was like, yeah, because I must have been feeling it. And he said, yeah, and he was like, bro, do you know what? Thank God that, like, you know that you can love someone that much.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank God that you know that you've got this much capacity of love. And I think even getting to a place of bad blood and like a place of peace with, like, where it's like, oh, okay, we're good now, like, it's all good, like, I can leave that in the past and, like, move on, in the sense of, like, cool, you've made your mistake, learnt from it, boom, 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 but how hopeful is that, in the sense of you got this much capacity to love, and you're growing up, and man of God, and, you know, you're getting into your third album, and you got good family, like, and you got this much capacity to love, like, I was like, that is such a hopeful feeling. Do you get what I mean? It's like, yo, like, my next biz, I'm gonna love you up. I'm gonna love, like,
It's a bit.
Yeah. Even that's gonna sound jokes, but
No.
But as in, like, I've got, like, and again, in a world where it's like, as a man, or like whatever, in this, yeah, man's bare things and man's this, but like, I'm a lover, like, I love love, and it's so joke because someone tweet me the other day? They said something about man's soft, or like, you're so under fire, baby. They said you're soft or something, and I thought, yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm soft, like,
Right.
yeah, I'm soft, like,
100, bro.
but it's so joke because I'm not. It's funny because they said I'm soft, and I was like, the way you're calling me soft, I'm not even soft in that way.
Exactly.
Because if we're talking that,
You know what that is.
I said, if
You
we're
know
talking
what
that, I
that
said,
is.
and if you see me on anywhere and and you want to press me on like you, all right.
Right.
So I said, we're not even talking that. Do you know what I mean? Without even like,
Park that off.
Park that off,
Because you know what that is.
Yeah,
but in this realm,
I said I'm soft.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Fire babe, I'm soft. I said I don't mind that.
Do you know what, bro? As well, though, it's like going through that is a good thing because it's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you now in the element of growth, you got to take that, see all of what you went through and how you felt at the time, in as a reminder whenever you are in your next situation of like how you felt when you was going through what you was going through, the mistake that you made or whatever it may be. Do you get what I'm saying? And just remind yourself of like trying to do whatever you can do, what is ever in your control to not allow that to happen.
100%.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Even I told the man them all the time. I'm like, it's bruv, you see God, thank you God, because growth is so funny. Like, there's times when I'm speaking to people and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, bro, there's times I've been burst. Man's in the smoking section and talking to someone about, I'm saying, cuz, trust me, you don't want to lose her, cuz. Like,
Yeah.
you know that, I'm giving it all of that. Like,
Yeah.
But even, I thank God again for just like, sometimes I say, yeah, like, thank you God for just giving man just the bravery, like, and understanding that in a public forum, you can't control,
Big man.
you know what I mean? You can't control
know. Honestly,
that.
I don't see my thing, in that my thing is out of sight, out of mind. I need to not see you and not speak to you until I'm at a certain place. And then after that, even if we're having conversations, I'm never asking questions that could ever allude to the fact that she's with the next man. My questions are, how are you? How has things been? How's work? There's no, what was you up to last night? These type of questions, just to have that. Before we go though, I couldn't go without this.
No doubt, and I suppose I need your love enough physical. Oh, why if I get wrong?
I'll go forward quick.
I heard the news about the guy you're dating. You see my new girl, she's fire, baby. And you don't care much, and I ain't hating. You said you need time, but I ain't waiting. The ball's in your court, I fall short. Said all your flaws, I know your four walls. You know, man, girl, it's all yours. I'm being silly, but you know that I had you for life. I get you any bag you like, come on, let's like. Hoping that you're bumping into me when you're planning your night. I'm just glad you're alright. Mad how I move when you chat to me rude. Got me shouting on the phone like I'm back selling food. But the catch-22 is that I'm a catch too. You can never be my up, but if I ever catch you.
Probably my favourite rhythm on the album.
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
that one's cold.
That's a lot of their favourites as well.
Yeah, man.
I think, like, again, like, when I hear that rhythm, it's back to what I was saying before. It's like, if I'm an artist and you're feeling, you gotta feel, bro. Like, you gotta feel, and sometimes that's always gonna be, that might be an uncomfortable truth of like what a situation is. But you definitely, even think about it. Real niggas worldwide know you feel something about a situation, innit? Do you get what I mean? Like, you feel something, like, even if you're indifferent to it, you feel something. So I think, I said, if I'm committing to this is what I mean, and I'm exploring this emotion and that emotion, and I feel all these things and I feel that, how do you feel? And why is that rhythm was being made? That was the circumstance, innit?
Right.
Like, yeah. And it was even jokes when I was writing it, because I was like, yeah, right, this is how you feel.
Man said I got a new gal and
Yeah.
you got your thing, but I'm not really. Like,
And I think
you don't care, but I'm not. But you do care a little bit.
Yeah. And
Like,
even in the tone, you can hear like it's that, innit?
Yeah.
Like, and I think, I think even that's probably like a big testament to the album, where it's like, yeah, what you can't. I said you're not gonna half step or half heart an emotion, innit? Like, if you feel like, and we're able to do it like in any other way, in the sense of like, if I feel like, yo, I'm gonna fuck you up, man can do that at its highest degree, and we can do. But then, if we feel like, oh shit, like, I'm really sorry, man, like, I shouldn't have done that to you, like, we tap into that with the same ego that sometimes we tap into that I'm gonna fuck you up, and it can be like,
Yeah.
and it's like, nah, man, like, and I said with this album, it's because I remember, bearing in mind, the first song that I made is Fire and Water.
Right.
So it's like, yo, you're here, you're committed. You're committed. Like, if you're being this like honest and that like direct, like, you're committed. So I think when the emotion popped up and the piece of music inspired me to like,
And the
go to a-
circumstances were
and the
circumstancing.
circumstancing. It was like, okay,
Right.
here you
This
are.
is it.
That's it, go on, like, and you can't like, yeah. I'm really proud of like of how I managed to like do all of that and like glide into it. Like, you get what I mean?
I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The very last thing I want to say before we leave is like, I do, because you mentioned Twin a lot here, but I do want to send an honourable shout out to Twin, the whole team, and also your manager, more so because I think, again, like, with so much that is on the line, even more so with them, I respect massively that nobody got in your ear to do anything different because that would have affected the art. And I know that a lot of the time, the narrative is always the label guy did this and the label guy did that and all these people are bad. And it's not, the coolest thing in the world is not to shout out the label guy when they have essentially just taken their role in guiding. And I guess you could kind of just say, you know what, you're shouting at someone for essentially doing their job, but it's very difficult to do that when there is so much noise, because ultimately you're in the studio, you have a feeling of what you want to do, but also they have targets. They've got other people that are that may not necessarily understand you the same way that they understand you. So I just kind of wanted to just big them up and the whole team for like just not affecting the art by a mad opinion and just swaying you to do something that you may have felt uncomfortable in doing later on down the line.
100,000%. Like, credit to both the twins, Toby, Jermaine, like my whole team. Like, yeah, they always just allow me to do whatever I want, and I'm someone who does whatever he wants. I make whatever I want, and they do backflips and cartwheels and magic tricks and this and that behind the scenes to just allow me to like to fucking grab the mic and sing Fire Babe and release it. Like, so credit to them. And like, again, it's funny that even when you speak to Twin about it, like, or speak to Jermaine in particular.
Who's Jermaine for people who don't know?
Jermaine's my creative partner,
right,
but he's also an A&R manager at Murky. And like Jermaine's like, every creative idea, like, if you think of like Kendrick and Dave Free, like, that's me and Jermaine. Like, and Jermaine always has this joke where he laughs, where he's like, it's funny when people think like, oh, Storm's the label, and it's like, if they know this man, do you think anyone can make me do anything? Like,
right.
I don't even say that in like a greasy, ignorant way of like, I do whatever the fuck I want, but I am so creatively sure and creatively confident, and so I am fucking doing this today. That if you think anyone, there's a label or a system or a fucking functionality that can make me do anything for any type of success, you're insane. They can't make me drop this or make me do that or we should do this or no. Like, and that is one thing. If you ask anyone about my team, Stormzy is gonna do whatever the fuck he wants, like, and not in an ignorant way, in a way of like, my spirit and my soul and God wants me to do this and I'm doing that, and like, I don't care about a mechanism or a fucking album sale or a fucking pre-order or a fucking tour ticket or a fucking YouTube view. I don't give a fuck. Like, but it's just so funny because thank God, to God be the glory, we do all right with those things. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it always looks like we done the strategic calculation to get there, and it's like, nah, I just did what was in my spirit. But thank God I have an amazing team and people who facilitate that, where it allows it to be successful. There's people around me who are the best in the world at their job, so it allows me to do what I want, and I'm successful for it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Well done, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Honestly.
Thank you, bro. Thank
Love
you.
for coming and doing it.
Thank
So
you
I
for having
appreciate
me,
it every
my brother.
time, my brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Bless it.
Oh, girl, you're shining. I know you're my diamond.